All right, so in part 2 of 12.1, we also need to talk about interior and exterior angles. And how I label something as an interior or an exterior angle has everything to do with my parallel lines. All right, I need you to draw this grid right here, or grid, graph, layout, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so go ahead and draw this, because everything we're about to talk about over the next 10 minutes or so has to do with that layout of those angles up there. So let's start with interior angles. So our interior angles are 3, 4, 5, and 6 because they're on the inside of the parallel lines. And what we know about their measurements is that the alternate interiors, and what do I mean by alternate? Can anybody maybe give your one-word description? What does alternate mean? Not alternate, but opposite, okay, or to switch, all right? So when we think of alternate, we think of it switching to the other side of the transversal, okay? The transversal is what's cutting through the parallel lines. So watch this. Angle 3 and angle 6 are alternate interior. Maybe I could just draw an arrow. You see how it crosses over to the other side of the transversal, but it's still inside, okay? And here's what I know about alternate interior angles. They're the same measurement. All right, just look at them for a sec. Look at angle 3. You see how it's angling? And look at how angle 6 is angling. Can you see that they're about the same, just how they're angled? They're basically both less than 90. So we can eye it too. And we can tell that 3 and 6 probably are about the same measurement. So if angle 3, and you can write this down, if angle 3 was 75 degrees, I could say angle 6 is what? 75 degrees, because it is alternate interior to 3. Okay? It's not corresponding, it's not any of those others that we just learned, but it is alternate interior, so that's another rule that we can use. And again, why do we do this? To avoid actually having to measure these. We can actually just use rules of their relationships to find their measurement. All right, so now let's go back to our other ones. 3 and 4, angles 3 and 4 are what kind of angles? Supplementary. So if 3 is 75, what is 4?
100.
Yep, you're close. 105. So 4 and 5 are what kind of angles? Oh, no, 4 and 5. Alternate interior. So because 4 is 105, 5 will be
105.
And also 5 is 105 because it's supplementary to 6. Okay, so you see, guys, there's going to be more than one reason here how you can connect these together. Alternate interior angles is just another relationship that we can claim. Here's my reason why, and we can use it. All right. So I'm going to list now my alternate. Y'all okay with abbreviations? Yes. Okay, alternate interior angles. Their pairs are 3, okay, that's not an L, that's an angle sign, remember? 3 and 6. And my second pair is 4 and 5. All right, I might ask you to list a pair of alternate interior angles, and that's how you would do it. Sometimes you're asked to list it. Sometimes you're just given one angle measurement and you have to find the rest of them. Okay, the last thing we need to talk about is alternate exterior angles. Alternate exterior angles. So now instead of looking inside, we're going to look outside the parallel lines. 1, 2, 7, and 8. But alternate still means the same thing. The other side of the transversal. Now for the angles outside the parallel lines. So let's start with angle 1. Angle 1. Okay? I can use angles 1 and 4 are what? Angles 1 and 4 are what? 1 and 4 are vertical. So angle 1 is automatically what? 105. Now I can use my alternate exterior rule, saying that on the other side of the transversal, on the exterior, so I go to the bottom side of the transversal, on the other side, those angle measurements will be exactly the same. So I can jump all the way down to angle 8 and say 8 is also 105 because it's alternate exterior to 1. It also corresponds with which angle? 8 corresponds with which angle? Not corresponds. Correspond. 4. It's in the same location as angle 4 in the bottom right, and angle 4, ironically, is 105. Okay? So alternate exterior angles would be 1 and 8. Hold your question for just a sec. And what is the other pair of alternate exterior angles?
2 and 7.
2 and 7. So if I asked you to list one, you have 2 pairs to choose from. Angles 2 and 7. Okay? And we know that their measures are the same. So 2, anybody have a guess at what angle 2 would be? 75, because why?
It's
Name your reason. I mean, there's a lot, right?
Corresponding with
Vertical to which one? Vertical to 3, supplementary
corresponding
to
with 6.
what else? One.
corresponds with 6, supplementary to 4, supplementary to 1.
Corresponds with 7. 7 corresponds with 3.
Okay, correct. Okay, so now I jump down to 7, alternate exterior to 2. So vertical to 6, angle 7 is vertical to 6. You see, guys, there are multiple reasons why an angle measure is the measure that it is. When a transversal cuts 2 parallel lines, if they are not parallel, none of this works. 12.1 is not even a lesson if the lines are not parallel. Okay? So that was actually a question on your last homework. They kind of threw some of you off because you thought that it was correct, but they weren't parallel lines, so then it was wrong. Okay? And if you understand that, that would be everything you need to know for section 12.1.